Hello everyone. Now hardly a week remaining for your exam. It's time for revise and revise. So targeting that, we have come up with a very important lecture regarding revision of environment related current affairs targeting UPSC Prelims 2021. So let us begin. First is 2023 International Year of Millets declared by General Assembly. Millets is a small seeded grass. India is the largest producer, producing 41%. Maximum area is under Rajasthan, Maharashtra, so it is a dry land crop you can predict. Millet is grown as a kharif crop in arid and semi-arid area, and unlike paddy cultivation, it absorbs carbon. So you can say it does not contribute much to the greenhouse effect. So it needs water with a very less amount, that is 2.5 times water is less needed, and comparison is done with the wheat crop. Important crop of dry land farming needs only 350 mm that we had already seen. Next event is National Climate Vulnerability Assessment Report by Department of Science and Technology. On the same line, this report is prepared on the same line, that is Global Climate Risk Index, that is prepared on global level. And this is given by German Watch, and so it is our national initiative. And what does it indicate? It indicates the vulnerability. And vulnerability is nothing but similar to risk. Risk is defined in the IPCC 5th report, and it's an overlapping area where hazard, exposure and vulnerability occur. So risk is a bigger thing, vulnerability is a subset that is calculated in the risk factor. And the most important areas are Assam, Bihar, Jharkhand in the decreasing order. Most vulnerable is Assam, where more than 60% districts are highly vulnerable. New emission norms for coal-fired plants have come, which says that install desulfurization, flue gas desulfurization process, so that SO2 or sulfur dioxide are removed. Mandatory use of 100% utilization of fly ash has come. Fly ash is another important thing that you should remember, which is a byproduct in the coal electric furnace collected by electrostatic precipitator. Then there is another important thing, that is Go Litter to tackle marine pollution, marine plastic litter, joint initiative by Maritime Organization, Food Agriculture Organization and United Nations. Plastic makes about 80% of the marine debris and has a life of 450 years. Microplastic and nanoplastic are defined as the fragmented piece or plastic which can be fragmented under the influence of solar UV light. So such things are defined as microplastic or nanoplastic. Another initiatives are London Convention to tackle marine pollution, then Marine Pollution Convention, that is known by MARPOL, to prevent garbage from discharge of the ships, and then there is Global Partnership on Marine Litter that is declared in the Rio Plus 20, that is Johannesburg Conference, also termed as Conference on Sustainable Development, and everything is done to achieve the Sustainable Development Goal 14, that is related to marine pollution. Then we have second World Assessment Report, World Ocean Assessment Report related by United Nations, talks about mangroves, seabird and species, a very generic point, and dead zones have been doubled. You have to understand this. And the data was regarding 2019. Dead zones are nothing but hypoxic zone. In India, they are observed in Bay of Bengal. Illegal and sand mining, yes friends, another UPSC favorite topic. Sand is a minor mineral under MMDR Act, Mines and Minerals Development Regulation Act. It is minor mineral. This is mineral, so regulated by state government. Steps are taken through surveillance and developing alternative sands. M sand is what is the alternative of the regular sand. Pradhan Mantri Khanik Kshetra Kalyan Yojana is nothing but rehabilitative scheme for the mineral affected district, implemented by statutory body District Mineral Foundation, who works under the guidelines of state government. Then we have turtles, flagship species conservation. Then we have National Marine Turtle Action Plan, target year 2021 to 26, 5 years. Total 7 species are found. 5 are found in India. Olive ridley is the largest population. Leatherback is the largest turtle. Other 3 are green turtle, hawksbill turtle and loggerhead turtle. Olive ridley turtle, leatherback turtle and loggerhead are vulnerable, while green turtle is endangered and only hawksbill is critically endangered. So hawksbill is what is at most critically endangered, you have to understand. They are found mostly in coastal areas, but exceptions are leatherback is only found in Andaman Nicobar. So extreme statements are sometimes not wrong. So it's only found in Andaman Nicobar, while hawksbill are found in Andaman Nicobar and Lakshadweep. Then we have Miyawaki technique for urban forest management to increase urban forest. More than 30 species are found, so that urban forest becomes sustainable after a while. And in a compression or in a compressed layer, these shrubs or trees are planted, so that it also reduces greenhouse gas effect. Then we have Lantana camara. It is an invasive species from America, tropical American side. 40% of the Indus Tiger Reserve are affected by it. It is a very dangerous species because it is in the top 10 invasive species. When herbivorous animals eat it, grazing causes liver failure and diarrhea and even causes death. World Sustainable Development Summit 2021, organized by the Energy Research Institute. It's an independent think established since 1974. And what does this think tank do? It suggests only innovative way for sustainable development. Then we have geothermal energy. First site is coming at Pugal, Ladakh region. There are regions identified for geothermal energy: Himalayan Ladakh, west coast of Maharashtra, Gujarat, Gulf of Cambay and Khamba, two regions, Narmada, Tapi system, Godavari system and Mahanadi area. So you need to have a glance what are the potential area of geothermal energy. Then we have ethanol blending, another important thing. Why ethanol is blended? Because it reduces particularly two pollutants, monoxide and sulfur dioxide. Then sugar industry will also benefit because it's a byproduct and they can sell it. National policy in biofuel allows blending by 2030, 20% in petrol and 5% in diesel. So 20% in petrol and 5% in diesel, you have to understand. And biodiesel is also prepared from used cooking oil, and you know all the 5 generations, so you can definitely know that non-edible oil, seeds and short gestation crops are used to prepare biodiesel. Then we have direct seeded rice technique. Important, seeds are not sown as saplings but directly seeds are sown, so that it requires more benefit is achieved, and benefit in terms of less water requirement, high crop maturity and low cost of production is achieved. Leaded petrol has phased out globally, again and another extreme event that you should remember. Now there is no country, Algeria was the last country where leaded petrol was there. It has exhausted its reserve. Why petrol was mixed with lead? Because it was used as an anti-knocking agent to improve octane rating, which is nothing related to sound and ignition. Then another important and static current affairs. Under Vienna Protocol, we have Vienna Convention, we have Montreal Protocol. It is related to depleting ozone layer. An amendment in 2016 had came, which is known as Kigali Amendment. It required to phase down consumption of HFC, hydrofluorocarbons. Now after Montreal, CFC were replaced by HFC, and now HFC has to be phased out, or that is the target of the globe that is going on. Now why HFC are phasing? Why they are targeting HFC? Because HFC do not deplete ozone but are having global warming potential, and the target is 80% reduction by 2047. And another important extreme statement, it is a legally binding agreement, that is Kigali. Montreal also was a legally binding. Now in that agreement, various groups are there, like in the Kyoto Protocol there are different groups. So in the same way, there are different groups in this agreement, and India belongs to the group 2, and group 2 consists of those countries which will develop their own national strategy. So another positive thing for India, you can say it works on a CBR, that is common but CBDR, common but differentiated responsibility basis. Then we have Earth Overshoot Day, when human demand increases and Earth regenerative capacity lags behind. That is the Overshoot Day. This year it was observed on 29th July, and last year it was on the 22nd August. Then we have most important reason for this overshoot is deforestation in Amazon forest and increased CO2 emission. Then we have emission gap report in United Nations Environmental Program given by. It talks about how much we have to reduce and how much we are emitting. So that gap is nothing but emission gap, and this it has observed few things, that is increase of 2.6% due to forest fire. This is increase in greenhouse gas. Then we have highest is observed in 2019, and fossil fuel CO2 emission maximum in it, that is due to transportation sector, we can say. 4 largest emitter are China, USA, European Union, particularly UK and India. 2/3 global emission is also due to private household. About UNEP, general points are: headquarters is in Nairobi, Kenya. 90% works on voluntary contribution, and United Nations General Assembly is the governing body of UNEP. Publications are Our Planet, Tunza, Atlas of Our Changing Environment, Global Environment Outlook. You should remember these points. Awards are Champions of the Earth, Seed, and Saskawa Prize. Host many multilateral agreement also. In that also, if you different things are Bamko Convention, treaty related to African prohibiting import into Africa any hazardous waste, and Tehran Convention, protection of marine environment of the Caspian Sea, and Carpathian Convention. So Carpathian mountains, you should observe where they are found. These are the most important. This is Carpathian, sorry. So this is Carpathian region in Europe's largest mountain range. Adaptation gap report: if emission gap report is given by UNEP, adaptation gap is also given by UNEP. Now it will be gap between how much we are emitting and how much technology we are adopting. So 72% adopted countries at least adopted one national level planning instrument. Now adaptation gap difference is between actually implemented and societal goals. So this technical definition also you should understand. Adaptation cost is nothing but cost involved in planning, preparing, facilitating, and implementing measures. Nature based solutions are there: sustainable manage and restore modified ecosystem. Then we have climate change performance index given, published since 2005, given by German Watch, again an independent think tank. India ranked 10th in the latest edition, that is 2020. First three ranks are really empty. No country has been given first three rank, just to make the world sure that we are not doing much to tackle climate change. Then we have global climate risk index released again by German Watch, reflect impact of weather related loss. India is the 7th worst hit country due to extreme weather events. Now Mozambique is worst affected, that you have to understand. So continuing our discussion, then we have state of global climate report released by WMO, uses global climate indicators to describe changing climate. Temperature in 2020 was declared around 1.5 degrees Celsius above the pre-industrial level taken from 850 to 900. 2020 is one of the three warmest year that have been declared. Not so important. Tropical cyclones and extreme weather events have increased. What is this report talking about? So WMO, again a basic question can come. What is WMO? It's an intergovernmental body. 193 are members, headquartered in Geneva, Switzerland. India is of course a member, and state of climate service report is also another report. First report that we have seen is state of global climate, and another report is state of climate service report, and it talks about how to protect most vulnerable areas from climate change. Then we have assessment of climate change over Indian region given by Ministry of Earth Science. This is the first ever attempt or first document that highlights the projected changes, particularly talking about Hindu Kush mountain, where temperature has been increased by 1.3 degree. Not an important fact that you should remember. Sea surface temperature has also been increased, and drought has increased in frequency, and area of drought has also been increased, that is frequency and spatially both have drought frequencies increase. Hotspot of extreme weather events in India: more than 75 Indian districts have been affected, 650 million are affected, and flood prone is what is most important catastrophe that will occur. And unusual warming in the Arabian Sea has also been observed. Then we have the global carbon project. Global carbon project releases report related to global methane budget and global nitrous oxide. So global carbon project, what it is? It's a global research project of Future Earth Research, partner of World Climate Research Program. So Future Earth and World Climate Research Program are two institutions that are involved, established since 2001. That you have to understand that it's a recently established organization, and these are few partners, not an important to remember. Global methane budget, 85 times methane is 85 times stronger global warming agent than CO2, and it is the second largest contributor. So methane is what are the globe and Indian government targeting, and it stays in atmosphere for 9 years and then converted into CO2. Another technical glitch which UPSC had asked, so you should remember such conversion of one pollutant to second, primary to secondary pollutant, is definitely a theory behind it. Small portion is only consumed by bacteria, so it is not something which can be biodegraded. Agriculture waste contributes the maximum, that is use of fertilizers and pesticides. Then we have global nitrous oxide budget. This budget is given by International Nitrogen Initiative. Nitrous oxide is a long-lived greenhouse gas and ozone depleting substance. It resides more than 100 years in the atmosphere. Third most important, of course, after methane, and 10% increasing since 2016 has been observed. And of course, agriculture is held as responsible for it. So we have to understand that agriculture related pollutants are now in the news, and something UPSC will definitely ask on it. Then we have loss of ice cover from Arctic Sea reported by National Center for Polar Oceanic Research. Now this is a very easy predictable current affairs. You just need to have a glance. National Center for Polar Ocean Research is under Ministry of Earth Science Autonomous Research Institute, which maintains Antarctica Maitri and Bharati stations and Arctic Himadri station. Sea level rise has been observed. Of course, it's a normal generic term. And contribution for expansion in the descending order, this maximum increase due to thermal expansion, then glacier melting, Greenland glaciers melting, and the residual heat, that is residual factors, and the other factors contribute the list. So maximum contribution for sea rise is thermal expansion. Aerosol, what are aerosol? Suspended particles in the atmosphere, you can say. And radiative forcing, which is expressed in watts per meter, is a net change in energy balance due to some force perturbation of anthropogenic factors. Now we have International Solar Alliance, another important current affairs that you should remember. It's a joint alliance by India and France, and of course its headquarters is in Haryana, Gurugram. Vice President are chosen from 4 regions: Asia, Pacific, Africa, Europe, Latin America, and Caribbean is taken as one region. Initiative launch are Coalition for Sustainable Climate Action. It is with International Solar Alliance and a public-private partnership, or we can say private individuals or private institutions are also involved in Coalition of Sustainable Climate Action, an initiative by International Solar Alliance. Then we have solarizing heating and cooling system, that is turning your AC coolers into solar powered units. About Solar Alliance, we have solar light for household by 2022 and mechanism to reduce cost of the capital. Then we have remote solar technologies also. Yes, another important event is International Solar Alliance. India is France joint initiatives. Vice President are chosen from 4 different regions. 2 important initiatives are Coalition for Sustainable Climate Action, a joint initiative by International Solar Alliance and public, private sector and corporate sectors. Then we have solarizing heating and cooling system. These are the important points that you should remember. Along with this, there is also another important thing, that is World Solar Technology Summit. So anything related to solar technology will direct to Solar Alliance. Is organized by International Solar Alliance to bring all the stakeholders together, that is government, private sector. Agreement signed is One Sun, One World and One Grid initiative, a tripartite between Ministry of Renewable Energy, World Bank and International Solar Alliance. So this is a unique point. One Solar, One World and One Grid tripartite initiative. And it of course publishes a journal also where articles could be published. Then we have CARE initiative, Climate Adaptation and Resilience for South Asia, Climate Action in South Asia. It's a World Bank approved project, and CARE will work with 2 organizations, that is RIMES, Regional Integrated Multi-Hazard Early Warning System of Africa and Asia, RIMES, and Asia and Asian Disaster Preparedness Center, ADPC. Then we have carbon capture and storage, another important point that you should remember, by Department of Science and Technology, and they want to accelerate such kind of technology. What is carbon capture and storage? Capture the carbon and store it for future use for a long term, so that greenhouse effect is reduced. That is how the technology talks about. So most important, what are the sites for this CCUS? These are the underground sites, or the we can say mines which are not in the use. Such kind of sites are used. One thing you have to remember, one of the identified innovation challenge for this kind of developing technology under Mission Innovation Program. So what is Mission Innovation Program? It's a global initiative of 24 countries and European Union for global clean energy innovation, that you have to remember. Then we have another important decarbonizing transport initiative. Niti Aayog collaboration with International Transport Forum have launched this. So decarbonization transport initiative. The name suggests that we have to reduce carbon, which is transport sector contributes the maximum. So that is this initiative talking about. Carbon pricing. What is carbon pricing? Is nothing but capture external cost of emission and ties them through a source, usually in the form of price, that is in the times of monetary. Now types of carbon pricing are implemented through carbon tax, that is tax on greenhouse gas emitted, emission trading system. This is nothing but related to your international agencies. Then we have internal carbon pricing, that is all the initiatives done internally, and green tax on the polluting goods. So this is a very generic point. What you have to understand, that carbon is tackled through taxing it, converting it into monetary value, and then so that sustainable and restrictive emissions have been should occur. Then we have carbon trading. Begin with Kyoto Protocol 1997, and Kyoto Protocol gave what? Certified emission reduction certificate, so that any countries whose emission is more and another country whose emission is less, so both collaborate and at least money is transferred from from high polluting industry to the low polluting industry. That is how it is there. This is an important event, that is Green Agricultural Project, Green AG projects, and aims to bring out about 1 lakh hectare of farm under sustainable land. We had already seen that methane, nitrogen emission are being targeted, and making agriculture a sustainable sector is being what is government working for. Emission from agriculture is contributing in the following manner. Maximum emission is through livestock, then occurs through rice, then occurs through ruminant, that is grazing animals, then occurs through cereals, pulses, fruit and potato. Ruminants are grazing animals, and livestock includes everything, that is poultry, cattle and everything. Then we have air pollution due to stubble farming, EPCA, that is this organization has been set up under Environmental Protection Act for studying the effect of stubble burning around Delhi area. Reason for increasing read about this organization, EPCA. Reason for increasing pollution is mechanization and leaves behind smaller stubble. Then legal issues are also there, such as Subsoil Water Act, where Punjab Preservation, where this legal factors actually directs farmer to follow sustainable way of unsustainable way of agriculture. Then crop intensification also gives rise to increasing use of nitrogen and increasing crop intensification give rise to cultivating more crops. So more stubble are generated and more pollution is there, because after one crop another crop needs to be planted, and for planting another crop first crop need to be cleared very fast, and for this stubble burning occurs. Then for tackling this stubble burning, a new technology, that is PUSA, has become, which is a biodecomposer. What is PUSA? It's a capsule which is converted into liquid solution and then sprayed on the field, so the stubble is disposed of. Anti-smog gun is used to reduce particulate matter 10 and 2.5. What does anti-smog gun contains? It consists of fine water droplet particles, and they are fired with a very high velocity, and so that smog doesn't occur. National Clean Air Program is not an pan-India program, but only city-oriented program, where 102 non-attainment cities, non-attainment means who haven't achieved their target, non-attainment cities are being targeted to reduce particulate matter, and target is 10% in the next 5 years, that is starting from 2020. Then we have emission norms for thermal power plant. Emission norms for thermal, we have seen that 70% fresh water withdrawal is done by all industry, and 60% industrial emission is done through such kind of thermal industries. Not an important point to remember, but important is flue gas desulfurization, that is to remove SO2 is being now targeted. Now another important thing is use of ash, fly ash is also been imposed on thermal plant so that 100% utilization of fly ash is observed and sustainable method of generating electricity is being targeted. Then we have ammonia pollution. We have already seen methane pollution, nitrogen pollution. Ammonia pollution is also in the news because gas leak of the Indian Farmer Fertilizer Cooperative Limited, Prayagraj in Uttar Pradesh. Ammonia gas has been leaked. Major source of ammonia is of course agriculture and animal husbandry. Then we have ammonia also released due to indoor pollution, because and it definitely affects the individual who spend most of the time at the home, and those will be our respected women. So important indoor pollutants are due to these sources that you can definitely predict. To counter indoor pollution, we have Unnat Chula Abhiyan, that is biomass improvement for cooking stove, and also have Pradhan Mantri Ujjwala Yojana, that is LPG connection for the BPL people and the family. And the main aim is to give such kind of clean cooking source fuel so that health is also been improved. Then we have water pollution, and health is also been improved because out of pocket expenditure of the Indians are maximum in the world, as discussed in the economic survey. That one point you can definitely remember. Yes, we have water pollution and conservation, another static topic. Marine pollution we had already seen. So marine plastic pollution, 80% of the marine debris, and these are the conventions that we had already discussed. Microplastic and microbeads we have already seen. Then we have groundwater extraction. India uses most groundwater in the world, 25% of the global groundwater, 90% of agriculture, and 10% for drinking and domestic use. Majority exploitation is in Punjab, Haryana, Delhi, Western UP, Rajasthan, Gujarat, Karnataka, and Andhra Pradesh. Then we have Central Groundwater Authority under Environmental Protection Act, which handles groundwater, and surface water is handled by Central Water Commission, which is attached office in Ministry of Jal Shakti. Zero liquid discharge is another important thing, so that clean effluents are only sent in the seas. That is how it is been targeted. So water treatment process, and related to it we have zero liquid discharge. Then we have solid waste management, another important thing. Solid waste, in solid waste first you have to understand that plastic waste is considered. We had already seen thicker the plastic, more it is easy to handle it. So plastic bags thickness is increased, so that cost of production is also increased, which will not be liked by private sector, but it will be really environment friendly. That is one important point you have to understand. Then here we have to understand that now rural area is also been considered, and extended producer responsibility for collecting waste is being targeted. Biomedical waste is there in the news because of the COVID. Mask and sanitizing equipments, hand gloves have to be disposed of, and for targeting this, phasing out chlorinated bags and better segregation and pre-treatment of the waste is what is been targeted. Then we have Global E-Waste Monitor 2020 collaborative partnership with International Telecommunication Union and International Solid Waste Association, that you have to understand. Top 3 biomedical waste producers are China first, USA second, then India. India comes in the number 3. Metals like mercury, lead, and cadmium are definitely released from your e-waste byproduct. And then we have e-waste management rule, which described first time what is extended producer responsibility. Then we have sustainable processing of municipal solid waste, which is to be adopted, and some processes are mentioned below, that is plasma or gasification, biogasification, biomass waste disposal, and pyrolysis. So all are related to your municipal solid waste management process. You have to understand this. So in plasma or gasification, one important thing you have to remember, it produces syngas, and syngas can be used for electricity generation and other purpose. So it is like recyclable and reusable technology. Then another important thing we have to understand, Stockholm Convention is related to POP, persistent organic pollutant, and 7 persistent pollutants are this which have been banned. We have chlorodecane, then hexabromobiphenyl, hexabromodiphenyl ether, heptabromodiphenyl ether, then tetrabromodiphenyl ether, then we have pentabromodiphenyl ether, then pentachlorobenzene, hexabromocyclodecane, and hexachlorobutadiene. Just a glance for it, nothing more that you should remember. India have ratified this banned substance. Now India could access global environment facility. So ratifying it makes India eligible, so that global environment facility established by Rio Summit and finance has to be received. Stockholm Convention, yes, it's another extreme thing you have to understand. It's a legally binding. So first we had seen Montreal Protocol, Kigali Agreement were legally binding. Stockholm Convention is also legally binding. Then you have to understand organochlorine is a group of chlorinated compounds belong to persistent organic pollutants and used mostly in Asia. Then we have Environmental Performance Index published by Yale University. So it's an Environmental Performance Index. So what does it will address? It means how countries are addressing environmental challenges. So that is how the index will be work. It's a biennial index. India is 160th rank, 180 countries. So it's a very low rank, and in South Asia, except Afghanistan, India, all South Asian countries are far ahead except Afghanistan. So a bad thing for India. So continuing our discussion, we have Tiger reports. Highlights of 2018 are 3000 has been increased since 2014. Two initiatives to calculate Tiger M stripes and cataract, that is camera trap repository and analysis tool. India holds 70% of the world tiger reserve, and maximum is found in Karnataka and Uttarakhand. For Karnataka and then second Uttarakhand. Northeast has suffered loss due to forest cover. Largest tiger population is found in Western Ghat, particularly in Nagarhole, Bandipur to Wayanad, Madhumalai, Satyamangalam, BRT block. Corbett tiger has highest density. While conservation for tiger standards, cats are initiated, and this is a WWF initiative. And to double the tiger population was envisaged in Tiger Summit, St. Petersburg, as you might be aware of it. India's only golden tiger is found in Kaziranga, Assam. Status of leopard in India, 60% increase has been seen since 2014. Highest population is in Madhya Pradesh, followed by Karnataka and Maharashtra, found in central India and eastern Ghats. Status of leopard is vulnerable according to IUCN Appendix 1 according to CITES, and Schedule 1 according to Wildlife Protection Act. First state to launch Project Leopard was Rajasthan. Then we have snow leopard. Snow leopard, as you know, it is a cold mountain residing animal. Project started since 2017 and is funded by Global Environmental Facility. Status is vulnerable, IUCN Schedule 1, Wildlife Protection Act, and CITES insights included in Appendix 1. Around 3000 to 4500 meter is where the leopard found. So found in your northern and northeastern states. Then there is an important initiative called JSLEP, Global Snow Leopard Ecosystem Protection Program, collaborative with leopard rich countries. It's a non-governmental organization. Participants are Afghanistan, Bhutan, China, India, Kazakhstan, Kyrgyz Republic, Mongolia, Nepal, Pakistan, Russia, Tajikistan and Uzbekistan. India has defined three snow leopard landscape hemis, that is Ladakh, Himachal Pradesh, Nanda Devi, of course Uttarakhand, and Kanchenjunga, Tawang, Arunachal and Sikkim, that is northeastern state. Asiatic lion found only in the Gir National Park, that is in the world. In Gujarat, Supreme Court directed to create second home, which is Kuno Wildlife Sanctuary, Madhya Pradesh. So it's a Supreme Court decision, you have to understand. Of course, Gir National Park could not sustain because there is an epidemic, and if you know the name of the epidemic, you can definitely mention it. Vulnerable, Schedule 1 and Appendix 1 are its status. Of course, you have to understand vulnerable, IUCN Schedule 1, Wildlife Protection Act, Appendix 1 is your sites. And comparing it with African lion is endangered and slightly bigger than your Asiatic lion. So we are talking about Asiatic lion, and the count has increased by 30%. Just a point to remember. Then we have African cheetah. Asian cheetah is far more stronger than African cheetah. So African cheetah reintroduction has been envisaged. Kuno Palampur Sanctuary, Naura Devi Sanctuary, Gandhi Sagar Sanctuary, and Madhav National Park all are in Madhya Pradesh. That you have to understand. Asiatic cheetah is much stronger than African cheetah. Cheetah is critically endangered and was declared extinct since 1952. Then we have Vulture Action Plan. There are three critically endangered are Oriental white-backed, then we have white-backed, long-billed and slender-billed vulture population declined by 99% due to diclofenac. Then we have most important Great Indian Bustard, critically endangered species, Schedule 1, Appendix 1, endemic to Indian subcontinent. Population is declining due to power transmission line. Found in desert national park Rajasthan, Nalia, Gujarat, Varora, Maharashtra and Bellary, Karnataka. Found in open grassland, one of the species under integrated development of wild habitat. So this is a program, integrated development of wild habitat. Then we have India's first dolphin observatory. It is coming in Vikramshala Gangetic Dolphin Sanctuary, Bhagalpur district, Bihar. It is also with the scientific aim. Ecotourism is also one of the important aim. Gangetic dolphin lives only in freshwater lake and it is called as it is locally known as Susu and found in Ganga, Brahmaputra, Meghna river system. In India, there are total 7 states where dolphin is found. Most of the state you can predict, but exception is that you should understand Rajasthan and Jharkhand are also the state where dolphin are found. Then we have fishing cat, slightly bigger than our normal cat, a nocturnal animal, vulnerable and scheduled 1 species, found around wetlands like Chilka, mangrove forest, Sundarbans. Very important, I think this will appear because it is also included in Schedule 1 and some of Schedule 1 species they definitely asked. Now Uttarakhand is coming with first first park of lichens. So what is lichens? UPSC already asked and you should know it's a symbiotic relationship between algae and fungus. So lichen is first lichen park is coming in Uttarakhand Uttarakhand state and the specific place is Munsiari. Then we have ecological sensitive zone. Western Ghats are declared under Environmental Protection Act so that mining and industries could be occurring in only or hydroelectric power only on a sustainable space. These are basics about Western Ghats and you should know Kasturarangan committee declared 37% to be ESA zone while Madhav Gadgil said it should be 64%. So that is the difference. Now we have Dehang Patkai Wildlife Sanctuary in Assam, now upgraded to National Park. Which river flows? Of course it is Dehing river that flows, called as Amazon of the East, and it has sanctuary has 3 parts: Jaipur, Dehing, Dirok, and it is also an elephant reserve. And then we have Panna Tiger Reserve included into network of Biosphere Reserve. I think you must be aware what is Biosphere Reserve and it is included under which program, you should be also aware. Now here river Cane flows, and third to be included after Panchmari and Amarkantak in your network of Biosphere Reserve under Man and Biosphere program. So what is Man and Biosphere program? It enhances the relationship between people and environment, given under UNESCO, a very static point you should know. And World Network of Biosphere Reserve is a unique linking sustainable development and biodiversity conservation, a generic point. Then we have Nandakanan Zoological Park in Bhubaneswar near Kanjika Lake, first place where white tiger is to be conserved. Types of protected forests, types of protected areas. I think most of you are aware of national park, wildlife sanctuaries. Then we have biosphere reserves that we have recently just saw. But 2 different things are national conservation zone, strictly prohibited construction of commercial activities, residential tourism and other real estate property, and protected special agriculture zone. Now this is again a current affairs. Tamil Nadu has declared Kaveri Delta as PSAZ, protective special agriculture zone, because it want to restrict oil exploration in Tamil Nadu. State of World Forest Report given by UNEP and Food and Agriculture Organization. And what does the report state? Contribution of forest and people who used to manage them and sustainable use of diversity is calculated in this report. Now some brief statistics this report talks about, not so important, but we will have a glance. Forest is 31%, more than half is found in Brazil, Canada, China, Russia, USA. Rate of forestation has increased, of course it has increased. Asia has a net forest gain and Africa has a net forest loss. This is a unique point. Protected area, 18% of the forest world, of which 25% is a primary forest. Primary forest is there is where no human intervention is there. South America, largest share of forest and protected area. Forest fire destroyed nearly 4% of the world forest. Then we have Forest Specialist Index developed by WWF, highlights increased risk of species become vulnerable to extinction. So Forest Specialist Index. Then another important scheme, Nagar One scheme, that is also known as urban forest scheme, creating forest in 200 cities. We have already seen Miyawaki technique, and another is Nagar One scheme. So by Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change, this initiative is there. Then we have Community Forest Rights, that is Forest Rights Act in again in the news. It is a 2006 Act recognizes individual right as well as community forest right. At all powers are given for Gram Sabha for determining nature of rights. Habitat rights are also been provided for particularly vulnerable tribal group, that is PVTG, total 75 in the number. Habitation for primitive tribal group and pre-agricultural communities. Now some new rules are there. Community Forest Resource Management Committee as an executive arm, this is arm of Gram Sabha will be there, provides financial independence to the Gram Sabha who could gain money from the sale of forest produce. And habitat is a place where tribal and other forest dwellers have ancient connection, and spiritual is one of the connection that is recognized through new guidelines. Spiritual means worshipping plants, worshipping animals, that is how the spiritual thing is seen. Then we have deforestation hotspot recognized by worldwide WWF in its recent report. Forest cover loss is maximum in tropics and subtropics. Commercial agriculture is leading to the loss of forest area. And WWF, world largest privately financed conservation organization, is there. So WWF deforestation hotspot have recognized, and these are few bits. Now another and most important and most favorite topic of UPSC Ramsar conventions. So 9 criteria are there for identifying wetlands. Which are those 9 criteria? We just need to have brief overlook. Rare and unique species, endangered ecological community. Animal species is important for maintaining ecological diversity. Providing support during animals or other species in their critical days. Supports to 20,000 water birds. Suppose 1% of the individual in a population of one species or subspecies of water bird. Indigenous animals also found an important source for people and community. So just a brief overview. 2 important things that you can remember is supports to 20,000 water birds and 1% of individual in the population of one species or subspecies. Means at least if there is one species, 1% of the population or a total, suppose if there are 1 lakh, so 1% comes to be around 1,000 I think. So 1,000 birds will be supported by this wetland. So 1% population species who is wetland dependent but not avian species is another criteria, means any amphibian or any age living species you can say. Yes, of course, new wetlands have been identified. First is Asan Conservation Reserve on the banks of Yamuna River near Dehradun district in Garhwal region. Then we have Kabar Tal or Kabar Lake or Kabal Tal is also it is saying, or Kar Tal, also known by another name, is found in Bihar. It is found on Central Asian Highway and it is a site for critically endangered vulture. Lonar Lake, we have to see that Lonar Lake is found in Buldana district, Maharashtra. It's a crater lake, highly salt water, and pink algal bloom was also phenomenon observed there. Then we have Sur Sarovar or Khatim Lake in Uttar Pradesh, human made reserve by important bird sanctuary. Then we have Sokar Lake in Ladakh. Understand this, that in Jammu Kashmir, Pongsong Lake is not a Ramsar site, but Sokar is a Ramsar site, and it's a freshwater lake, important point on a Central Asian Highway. So I think you should definitely see what is a map of Central Asian Highway. Then we have Sukhna Lake declared as wetland, and it is found in the Chandigarh hills near the Shivalik, and it's also declared as living entity or legal person. So one brainstorming, do it has a fundamental right under our constitution, can be really thought of. Then we have mangroves, coral reefs they have asked, so I think mangroves becomes important this year. Ecosystem, which is salt tolerant, so called as halophytes, referred as tidal forest. Status of mangrove is 0.15% of the total geographical area comes under mangroves. Important states in the decreasing order: West Bengal will have maximum, Gujarat, Andaman Nicobar, Andhra Pradesh, Maharashtra and Odisha. That is how India lost 40% due to developmental activities, and Sundarban largest mangroves in the world. Initiatives for mangroves are MFF, that is Mangroves for Future initiative by India with IUCN. The Nairobi Convention is also there related to Western India, not related to mangroves, but it is related to Western India, ocean region for the health of river, coast and ocean partnership with government and civil society and private sector. Then we have Blue Flag Initiative for sea beach conservation. Kasargod and Puddubiri beach in Karnataka have been identified. Certification given on following criteria: environmental education and information, bathing water quality, environment management and conservation, safety and services in the beach. Then we have locust. On the similar lines, India gives beam. So we have Blue Flag Initiative by International Agency of Environmental Education Denmark, and India's initiative is BEAMS, that is Environment and Aesthetic Management bringing environment and aesthetic management services. So that is how you have to understand. Then locust attack in Indian state, 4 species have been found. These locusts are biphasic, means they will live individually, but when they will come in group called as swarms, then they will act in a different way. So that is known as biphasic. Reason for their attack is favorable weather condition and Indian Ocean dipole, particularly warm, so they want to just move out and go into some wet area where they can breed. So cyclones from the wet grounds favorable for their breeding. Westerlies brought rainfall, providing breeding grounds, that is wet condition over north western India. And Malathion, this word you have to remember. Malathion is an important pesticide that is used for on crops during the locust attack. So no solution is there actually for locust, and that is how we have to handle it. So friends, here we have taken a quick revision for environment related current affairs. I hope you enjoyed the video, and it will definitely help and boost your preparation. And Mulyankan wishes you all the best for your upcoming prelims. Thank you.